do your own research. That's what you always hear from analysts. And they tell you that, hey, before buying these particular stocks or these shares, make sure you do your own research. But what does it mean to do your own research? That's why we come here, because, hey, we have about 150 companies listed on the NGX. And out of the 150 companies, do you know that 5 of those companies are responsible for more than half of the market capitalization of the entire NGX, meaning that 5 companies control the narrative in the market based on market capitalization. Today, we're taking a look at the top 5 most valuable stocks on the NGX. That's what we're taking a look at today on today's episode of In Good Company. My name is Frank Fagbo, and you know that I don't come here alone. And this is brought to you by Nairametrics Television. And I have seasoned gentlemen, men of substance and caliber. When we talk about the numbers, when we take a look at what happens on the chart, these men understand the decision behind the numbers, and they're going to tell you what it takes for you to invest in the market and taking a look at the top 5 most valuable stocks on the NGX. Joining me on this episode is no other person, the city gentleman, Idi Kaja. You're very much welcome back again to In Good Company.
Yeah, thank you very much, Frank, and good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be back.
There's somebody you always see if you always click if you read the articles on nairametrics.com, I'm sure you always see one name, Izu, and most of his articles are around equities, talking about the equities market, things happening on the NGX, and this is the gentleman behind those articles. You're very much welcome again.
Thank you, sir. My name is Okoye Izuchukwu, the in-house equity analyst and writer for Nairametrics. I'm happy to be on this show.
Okay. So what's your take? Let's even talk about the 5 companies. If you look at the 5 companies controlling the entire market, it's really, really profound. But before we go into that, why do you think BUA Foods is now the most valuable company on the NGX, despite being one of the least traded? What do you think about that? We have BUA Foods. By the way, let me list the 5 companies. We have MTN, we have BUA Foods, we have Dangote Cement, we have BUA Cement, and then we have Airtel Africa. These companies have done magic in the last, maybe 8 months, year to date. That was the beginning of the year to now. But let's talk. The first question: why do you think that is happening?
Yeah, Frank. Yes. First of all, let us look at the general overview of what has really transpired so far this year. Like really mentioned, we have 5 of them. The most valuable company now is BUA Foods.
Yeah,
I think with a market cap of about 10.3. Then followed by MTN, 10.1. Then you have Dangote Cement. You have Airtel Africa. Then you have, BUA Cement. So in all, they have a total market cap of about 44.6 trillion, which is about 48% of the
entire
total market cap of, I think, about 92.7 as a close of trading yesterday. So they have equally rallied. They have increased, their share prices have increased. I think they have added over 13 trillion in market cap so far this year.
Yeah.
And which is fantastic, which is very, very impressive. But individually, if you look at, let's take, you made mention of BUA Foods.
Yeah.
BUA Foods is the most capitalized. I think 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you can confirm that 2 weeks ago, MTN was the most valuable stock. I think it has been overtaken by BUA Foods. But yes, BUA Foods has a consistent track record in terms of financial performance. I think last year in 2024, they did a profit of about 266 billion.
Yeah.
And for the half year, I think they have done about 132.
132.
And remember that BUA Foods is a dividend paying stock. So that could be the reason why it is is moving. The prices are increasing.
Yeah,
I think that's why we are enjoying. Even that's why they're enjoying that rally. Because people, I'm an advocate of a dividend-paying stock. I take towards the stocks that pay dividend. That could be the reason. That's what I think.
So, if beyond BUA Foods, what do you think? Is Dangote Cement still a valuable stock? Is this still a value buy in today's market? Do you think that it's a value buy in today's market? What's your take?
Yeah, I think Dangote, investing in Dangote Cement, it's quite valuable. It will be worth the investment. Is it at the stock is at a low where investors can actually buy into a pullback around 400 naira, and then target a high around 752, which it printed in January of 2024. Most cement companies went into a retracement or a pullback from January 2024. Like that is creating an opportunity for investors to buy. And with the recent fundamentals of Dangote Cement, that is a 730 billion tax profit in H1 2025, and the fact that all these cement companies have managed to cut down costs in the H1 2025. So I think investors are impressed and they're likely buying into that pullback, hoping to take profit from levels of H1 2024.
Yeah. And to add that's okay. He is absolutely right. And to add to that, among the 5 companies, I think Dangote Cement is in terms of valuation has the best valuation. Looking at their price multiples, I think it has a PE ratio about 12. That's the least among the 5 companies we are discussing. So it has I think it has a price to book value about 2.
Yeah.
So it has a better valuation than others. So that could equally be the reason why people are. Yeah, it's a good value, and it could equally be the reason why people are even keen into it.
2024 was a very tough year for should I say the telcos? No, but MTN in particular. It was a very tough year, losses, and I was a part of the investors during the investors call, and I joined meeting a couple of times, and you hear the CEO talking about the vision and how we should stay strong, talking to investors, because it was really a tough time for the company. But right now we're seeing a turnaround. What do you think is the reason behind the turnaround in 2025? It's like something happened first semester and you went back home and you chopped better beating for house, and then so why did you fail? And then you took your studies seriously. So what do you think
it's very simple. Like we go like Izu mentioned for the other company. I think when you look at MTN, look at the fundamentals starting from Q4 2024. That is where the recovery started.
Yeah. Oh, from Q4?
Yeah, from Q4. Okay. And in 2024, I think the sustained loss of about 400 billion.
400 billion, yeah.
Yeah, thereabout. So, and coming to Q4, they were able to recover a bit in Q4. Then going into Q1, they sustained that recovery. Now
they made about 415 billion profits.
I mean
in H1 2025.
H1 2024. Yeah. That's about 400. So that's what where I'm going now.
Yeah.
They were able to recover and made a profit of over 400 billion. Now that 400 billion they made was able to reduce their retained earnings to about 162 from over 600 something billion thereabout, and that equally dropped their negative shareholders fund to 42 billion. So in essence, investors might be thinking, okay, fine, if they sustain this level of growth, we are likely to see them exit that negative shareholders fund, and equally if have a retained, equally have a positive retention of profit. They will equally help them at least to pay dividend, because the end of the whole thing is for investors to have dividend. And last year they didn't pay dividend because of the loss they sustained. So investors might be thinking, okay, fine, with the way they are going, it's likely that they will erase that negative retained position.
So do you think they'll pay dividend this year?
Well, as an analyst, yes, I expect them to pay dividend because normally you cannot, you don't pay dividend if you have retained losses.
Very true.
In your balance sheet. So now the retained losses have come down to 162 billion, and the shareholders fund which was around I think over 400 has come down to 42 billion.
Yeah.
So once the rest that, we're optimistic that they should pay dividends, so that at least to encourage their investors and shareholders.
If you look at Airtel Africa, you see they made about $328 million profit for their financial for FY 2025, which ended in March.
Yes.
And $156 million for Q1 in the new fiscal year.
Yeah, that ended in June.
Yes. So how do you think investors should view Airtel's performance so far and their liquidity? Because it's a bit concern regarding liquidity. I think it's even all the top 5 most valuable stocks. Liquidity.
Yeah, if you look at Airtel, Airtel, yes, they made about $328 million in their full year that ended in March 2025, and coming into Q1, which ended in June 2024, I think they made about 150 something thereabout. Now, that is okay, looking at the environment and the situation, the macroeconomic headwinds, and the other things. But the fact is this, my challenge I have with Airtel is because it is thinly traded. I think among all the 5 companies, it has the least volume of shares traded.
Yeah.
And that means the shares are thinly held, and that will give you a problem in terms of exit and coming in and going out.
True.
So I think for me, it is best suited for long-term investors, not daily traders who would like to come in and go out. And for institutional investors, I think that's what I think.
Long-term investors. What about you?
Airtel is a success story for long-term investors because it has not as much volume to be traded like short-term. So the fundamentals are in a recovery, and it's a good stock to invest in. Yeah. So
okay, so what do you think about BUA Cement's growth? Is it enough to justify its high valuation? Do you think their growth is enough to justify this high valuation?
BUA Cement has been another success story on the NGX.
Yeah.
With their performance, they've managed to cut down costs, reverse an exchange loss of 29.9 billion.
Yeah.
Now it's 1.6 billion gain in FX losses. That alone would perform magic on their bottom line earnings, because normally to be revenue will be good and operational costs will take everything, and you have something that is left. FX losses will now take the remainder.
Yeah.
But now the company has managed to cut down FX losses, and investors are seeing that the company is making progress and it's good. So right now, BUA Cement is also at a pullback that investors can actually execute from, hoping to target their highs of 180.5, which the stock last printed in January 2024.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a success story. With a pre-tax profit of 580.3 billion in the first half of 2025, up from 363 billion. That's a success story, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So investors are watching this too, and they're looking at that lower pullback and are saying, okay, I'll target 180. So
So
you think that it justifies it?
Yeah, it justifies the movement and the road.
Yeah, I agree with him. So I agree with him. But
from 71,
I think they made 73 billion. In 2024, then half year is about 181, almost more than double that amount, and based on that has reflected in its valuation. I think it has the if not, he has the highest valuation. I think about 27 price earning multiples. You understand? So,
Very true.
which is high. So investors are just saying, okay, fine. We believe that yes, you've done very well, and we believe that you can do better. So, but the challenge is there that the onus is on the company now to ensure that okay, they maintain that level of profit they have come into they have in H1 going into H2. So otherwise, if they don't maintain that, there will be a re-evaluation and re-rating. So for me, yes, they have done very well. They are okay, but I think the angle of that premium valuation becomes a challenge. So unless they maintain their level of growth in terms of profit and earnings, otherwise they might see a little bearish situation for them.
Why do you think that most holders of this top valuated stocks, many of the holders, why do you think they don't like selling? Why don't they like selling? It's because it brings about liquidity. They want to hold for a long term. So this concern about liquidity, what do you think? How can investors navigate their way around that?
Okay, most large investors, equity investors, they often do long term. The dumping money into the stock markets, and they have these investors have hopes that this company will perform better in future, in 4 to 5 years to come, and they know the operational parameters driving such companies. They know how smooth it is. They know that even if there are trials and tribulations, the companies will overcome them.
Very true.
Yeah, so they're hopeful. They're not like short-term investors that will come, look at a liquid stock, enter and leave. Yeah, so they hold for a long term, knowing fully well that these companies will come out at the top. So they do their background analysis.
This thing you're saying, I remember during the last investors call and what's his name? Toriola, the MTN CEO or so. Yeah, I think Toriola or something. And he was just like appealing to investors. Hey, we are, a lot of work is going on. FX losses was the major reason we're having a downtime as a company. And now seeing them perform magic, like 400 billion in just the first half, I think it's profound. And investors have real faith in these companies. It's really interesting to see. But then before we round off, I just, where's money no day. But look at what's happening to our markets. Bullish. We've been seeing new highs. What's your take? What do you think about where's the money coming from?
I don't know why you are getting the issue that notion that there is no money.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. But you know, like really pointed or that he really mentioned on the issue of liquidity. Let me just talk a bit on that. You know, most of these high valued companies, 5 of them, if you check very well, their liquidity is very, very low. I think BUA Cement is about 138, the most traded stock. I think the best traded stock there is MTN, which is the 51 most traded stock. So that has the highest liquidity among the 5 companies. Now that thing goes down to what the free float issue. You can see most of these companies, their shares are tightly held. Unless I check the record, if you look at BUA Food or BUA Food and BUA Cement, you can see that the BUA group has over 80%. At least I'm sure that they have both direct and indirect. They have over 80% of the shares are standing. The same thing with Dangote Cement. So that's why for investors it is very, very important that you should look at liquidity. It's not about the high valued companies or whether they are growing their shares are moving. Okay, yes, people are screaming, the shares are rallying, they are increasing, but the most important is, even if I buy, will I be able to go out? How can I come in? How can I go out? That's key to me. Do you get the point?
Yeah, I get it.
It's very, very key, and you have to look at it very well. So most of 5 of them, they are not so that highly traded compared to the banking sector stocks where you have, and that banking stock, they have liquidity. By the time you check record, you will see that banks like Fidelity, banks are maybe ranks the most traded stock on the NGX. So it's always good to consider investors to consider liquidity when you are buying. It's very, very key. Don't just look at the share price movement. Consider liquidity. You can see most of them are on premium valuation.
When you enter a relationship, you also have to figure out the exit. Because
sure. Yeah.
That looks like that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The market is going frenzy. All-time high. Generally, I'm even talking about the ASI, the all-share index of the NGX. We're seeing hitting new highs over 120,000 points. So how many points now? And if you look at that, where do you think the money, liquidity is coming from? I'm just asking off the top of your head.
If you
think the Gen Zs are now becoming...
If you check the addition, like now, the 5 companies, and they have about 44.6 trillion. Market cap,
44.6.
which is about 48% of the entire market, of the 92.7 trillion market cap.
Yeah, true.
Now, those 5 companies, they have added about 13.6 trillion this year. Like what I said, if a stock is tightly held, small movements at least will now increase the share price and everything.
Yeah.
Do you get the point? So
but we also forget the unit price of those shares. The unit price of those shares are very high.
Yes, that's another point. The unit price of those shares, that's in absolute terms, it also contributes. Because if you look at, for instance, Airtel is about 2,310 naira 50 kobo, which is high.
Very true.
So multiply by outstanding shares will give you at least over. So even that will even affect retail investors, because for you to afford 1 unit of Airtel, that means you have to cover about close to 2,200, and that's not an easy thing to come by.
Daily 2K.
Yes, you can now
Daily 2K.
You can now see that if you want to buy like 1,000 units, multiply it. Now, if you multiply what will it give you?
True.
You can see the challenge. So most of them are trading above. I don't think there's any of them that is trading above below 150. I don't think.
MTN is about 400 or something.
NTM is about 480.
Yeah, 400 and something.
480. Then I think BUA Food close, I think about 570 thereabouts. So you can see the absolute terms, the figures are high. The share prices are very, very high.
But none of them is as high as Seplat. Anyways, that's a story for another day. That's a story.
Seplat is even easy. I don't know, it's like about 6th or I think about 7th or there. But I think GTCO is the 6th most valuable company. So as presently now, GTCO is the 6th most valuable company.
I think that also the whole London market, the whole IPO in London market really
Even I think the share price has dropped to below 100 now.
I think it's creating a pullback for people to actually buy into. So it's an opportunity in the stock market. Any disappointment is an opportunity.
It's a blessing.
It's not even a disappointment, because it's always good. So there are some people who they buy the dip. That's when
you might end up catching a falling knife.
They buy the dip when the stock is going down. As far as the fundamentals are strong,
true,
and there is a decline,
and it shows signs of correction.
Shows signs of recovery. Whether it shows signs of recovery or not, just look at the fundamental.
What are the signs of recovery? Most times, what are the few things you need to see that shows that this thing is recovering?
It could be technical, where you see the indicators are veering into the upside a little bit. You'd see it if analysts often look at it. Then you look at the quarterly results, where they go from making losses to full partial recovery, and then from there you see.
So that means for MTN, like what you said earlier on, that December 2024 was that time where they were recovering, because
they were recovering
gradually.
They were recovering gradually, because they sustained the heavy loss in 2024.
400 billion.
Due to basically
FX losses and all that.
Though their finance cost is still high. But at least because of the FX losses, which has stabilized a bit. So at least they have recovered, at least to like, I think it's about 430 billion they made in H1.
Okay.
So which is fantastic. And if they continue like that, definitely they might exit their negative shareholders funds and start paying. We expect them to pay dividend this year.
Yeah.
Expect them to pay dividend this year. Not only that, even
Fingers are crossed.
even Nigerian breweries has done quite well. And most of these things are tied down to forex. I call it forex-driven recovery. You understand?
Yeah, I get that.
Forex-driven profits, because most of them, what affected them last year, basically the forex volatility that wiped out most of their profits.
And on a final note, before we leave your faces, buy, sell, hold. The top 5. Which of them are you buying? Which of them are you selling? Which of them are you holding? Let me start from Idikaja.
Yeah, for me, BUA Foods is a buy for me.
Buy for you.
Yeah, MTN, very, very optimistic.
Okay.
It's a buy for me.
Yeah.
Airtel is a hold for me.
Hold. Okay.
Dangote Cement, because I expect them to pay dividend, because they retained their dividend payouts last year at 30 naira.
Okay.
It's a heavy dividend paying company, and I expect them to, because their profit has really increased this year.
Yeah.
And I expect that they'll do better than last year. So based on that, it's a hold for me. More so, they have a very relative good valuation. So it's a buy for me.
Buy for you. How
Yeah,
about
buy
BUA
for me.
Cement?
BUA Cement.
I know your answer.
Is it
I know your answer.
buy hold?
Buy
I know your answer. Please do. Buy, sell, hold.
I'd buy Dangote Cement.
Okay.
It's at a low around 400 naira. It's, I think 425 naira.
Yeah.
And then I'd hold to till 700 naira.
Okay, Airtel.
No, Airtel. I don't know much about Airtel.
Airtel is going at the share price is about 2,300. I think 2,350 kobo. And he has been steady for like that for quite some time.
I don't really like telco stocks. I don't really like telco.
What about MTN?
MTN, I wouldn't buy MTN.
You won't buy. So would you hold or sell?
I wouldn't sell either. I'd say hold.
Hold, okay.
MTN. Then BUA Cement, I would have said buy BUA Cement, but it was at the beginning of this year, it was around 108 naira.
Yeah.
I would have said buy them, but right now it's around 160. So I think it's a bit of a bot, but you can still squeeze out something from it if you can enter now.
Yeah. How about BUA Foods?
BUA Foods, I think BUA Foods is overbought.
Overbought.
Yeah, I'll wait for it to pull back.
So you sell.
Yeah, so that I'll buy again.
So you buy again.
Yeah.
I love that strategy. I love that strategy. You're waiting for it to pull back so that you're just going to pull the trigger and snipe that particular shares. It's so massive. It's really, really good. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And that's it on this episode of In Good Company. My name is Frank Fagba. And then one thing I'm going to tell you, if you need money to waste, just make sure you send it to me. I'm going to just call me or just look for a way. Just go to social media, look for my handle, and I'll give you my account number. What I'm going to do with that money is that I'm going to put it in most of these companies we've talked about today, because who knows what might happen in the next few decades. And that's it on this episode. I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Cheers.